Hey guys, so for this video we'll be checking out a great and intense doubles practice I had with Grand Slam champion and current world number 9 Michael Venus from New Zealand. We'll just kind of go through the different drills that we're doing, kind of how it is playing with a current person that is top 10 in the world. And if you guys look closely, maybe we'll find out if the pancake serve works against the absolute top level on the ATP circuit. So this video takes place on Sunday, October 16th. So this is the day before me and Leo play in the first round of doubles against Heliovar Glasspool, who's the current number 6 doubles team in the world. So for this practice we kind of start off hitting down the middle, like most practices. We just hit through the middle, trying to get the groove going, trying to work on like taking the ball early, getting our feet ready and getting in position to really hit through the ball. So now that we're doing some cross-court forehands, really make sure to look at how well he's balanced and grounded with his legs, and really just gets a lot of weight behind the ball but stays so grounded, which lets his arm really swing freely and just gets so much weight on the ball, which looks very effortless with him. And I can admit, like when I was hitting against him, it really helped me focused a lot on staying balanced on the ground, because I sometimes have the issue where I jump a little bit when I hit my forehand, which kind of makes it hard to drive through the ball. And especially just looking at him when he was doing it all the time, like how well he's kind of staying down with his head and just lets his arm come around and always hits through, like finishing up high with the follow through. And I was just trying to kind of like copy him as we were hitting in the cross court forehands. So after that we went to some backhand cross courts, and I mean it's pretty much the same thing as on the forehand that I was mentioning about the weight transfer and how well he stays balanced and grounded and just hits through it. He really gets some, like his ball really goes through the court and it's very heavy to hit against. It kind of feels like, to explain the heaviness of a ball coming at you, because I think there's a very big distinction between hitting ball hard and hitting ball heavy. And the easiest way I can explain it is kind of like, imagine someone is throwing a tennis ball at you at 20 miles an hour, and then you pick someone that throws a bowling ball at you in 20 miles an hour. So obviously, because the bowling ball is so much heavier, but it comes at you at the same pace, but in order to catch the ball, it's a lot harder obviously to catch a bowling ball coming at you 20 miles an hour compared to a tennis ball. We kind of went to hitting some volleys. We're just hitting a few up the middle, and then we started to do a drill where I would follow him. So I would try to hit the ball right at him all the time, but he would kind of move around a little bit. I think we do this drill in order to, like I see a lot of people, when you warm up volleys, you always stand in the middle and you're always like hitting balls to each other, and you're always like trying to be really focused at just hitting the ball straight ahead. And when it comes to doubles matches, when you get a ball like really hard at you, it's sometimes very difficult to change the direction of the ball. Obviously it's a lot easier to hit the ball straight back to where it came from. So that's where I think we did this drill in order to kind of make him angle the ball a little differently. So sometimes we have to hit like inside out forehand volleys, sometimes we would have to hit cross court backhand volleys, inside out backhand volley, like just the different angles to switch it up and let me just rip balls at him, but him to stay comfortable and just try to stay very balanced and calm at guiding the ball where he wants it to go. And you can just kind of look at the way he's hitting his volleys. Obviously his technique and everything is almost picture perfect. Like he has a very small backswing, but then just hits it very well with his body and core, and is very good at handling balls below the net, because he always keeps his racket up and is very low in the legs. Like he's a very tall guy, but then you can see how low he gets at the net and how well he just drives through every volley with his legs. So something that I sometimes struggle with is when the ball gets below the net. I kind of struggle with sometimes keeping my racket head up, especially on like the backhand volley, forehand volleys. And so with that, I kind of need to move to the ball a little bit more. Sometimes I wait for it a little bit too much and let my racket drop, which makes it very difficult, when a hard ball comes at you. And as soon as you kind of drop the racket, you lose your wrist a little bit, which kind of weakens the control you have of the ball. And especially against a guy of his level that hits the ball so hard, it's really evident every time you do wrong, you just lose control of the ball. Yeah, after we were doing a couple of those drills, when he was hitting the ball at me while I was moving around, his coach wanted him to work a little bit on hitting the low balls to his backhand, so he would kind of just feed the ball very low to him, so we'd have to snap it. And I think what they were working on here is that kind of had this issue a little bit, that he was snapping the ball too much, kind of using too much wrist and not really driving through it. So yeah, they did a couple of those reps, and yeah, he was trying not to stress through with the snap, always like snapping with the wrist, but still hitting through it, like making sure you hit through the whole shot before you look at the ball and stuff. So after we both kind of had an intense, if you want to call it, warm up with the volleys, we went into a little volley drill. So his coach would feed me pretty much like a return, and then I would hit like a first volley, and then his job was to try and yeah, just cut off the angles from me and be present and very efficient with the balls close around him. So I would always get like pretty tough first volleys, and then I would try to get it around him. And his job here was, yeah, it was to try to get as many balls as possible and just, yeah, just be as present, be as big as possible at the net. So something that's very evident when we're doing these kind of drills is how well he's positioning himself at the net. Because obviously when you're at the net in doubles, you want to look to get as many balls as possible. And the easiest way to think about that is almost try to always be in front of the person that is hitting a ground stroke or hitting a first volley. If you're right in front of them in relation to the court, that would most likely be the most efficient spot where you can kind of cover as much angle as possible. And then after that, you can add things to, like if the opponent's hitting a forehand or a backhand, because sometimes it's a lot easier to maybe hit a forehand cross court on a heavy ball instead of like hitting it down the line, because it's a lot easier to kind of snap over the ball. And the same thing with the backhand. So if you're in front of a person that's getting a very hard ball to his forehand, maybe you can move over a little bit more to cover, and yeah, the opposite way on the backhands. So after we did a few of those cross court, we would do a few down the line, and these are more like a person is hitting a return down the line, and let's say that me and my partner, obviously now I don't have a partner for this video or this practice, but it would be like me and my partner was doing an I formation, that he would go to the right side, and yeah, that they would make a good return down the line, and I would get it. And kind of following up on what I mentioned before, that the person at the net want to cut off as much angles as possible. So when I hit the first volley, Venus's job here is to, yeah, just to try and be in front of me as much as possible without giving up the cross-court volley that I sometimes got him with, but it's a very difficult shot for me to hit consistently. So yeah, so his job here was, as soon as the return comes down the line and I get a tough first volley, he wants to be just right in my face there and cut off all the angles. So after some of these volley drills, we went on to serves, and yeah, after just warming up the serve a little bit and hitting some serve and returns, we started doing this, yeah, just a very simple serve drill. We're playing half court. He would serve and come in cross court, just play a couple points, and yeah, after that we get into some line. But especially on these cross court points, it's always very difficult because he's so good at hitting the first volley deep and then kind of getting him very close to the net. So I would kind of be forced a lot of times to just lob it, because that was what I felt more comfortable doing. But yeah, he's so good at like hitting a heavy first serve, like really hitting a spot all the time, and then just coming in behind it so quickly with his first couple steps, and just, yeah, it feels like with 2-3 big steps, he's always right up on the net. So yeah, we did a couple of those. We just play a couple point games cross court. He would serve and come in all the time, or serve and stay back if he wanted to. But most of the time, he would just serve and come in, and then after that, we did a few points down the line. Then we switched it around, and it was my turn to serve and do the same kind of drill, cross court and then down the line. And yeah, just following up, trying to copy and learn a lot from him, as well, trying to be really focused on the first couple steps to get forward. And yeah, I had to throw out the pancake there, and it worked out pretty well. Actually, the third pancake I hit on him, the camera cut out for a little bit, so I had to switch up cameras. So, but yeah, but the first pancake I hit, I actually almost an ace, and then the second one I hit, I think I missed it, but then yeah, third one an ace, so 66%. Hey, thanks for watching. That will be everything from this little short practice session. I think we played for about an hour and 15 probably. Yeah, it surely is very inspirational to play with a person like Mike Venus. Outside of being an extremely good tennis player, he's a very nice guy. And yeah, same thing goes for his coach. They always, both of them, responded very nicely and like thoroughly to all the questions I had about the game and different like settings, drills and whatever. I just wish them all the success going forward. Yeah, one thing that's very evident when playing with people at this level is the intensity they always bring to the court. That's really something I'm working on constantly. Obviously a lot easier to kind of piggyback off their intensity during a practice like this, but that for him, this intensity is always there and doesn't matter who he's hitting with. And yeah, for me, I sometimes maybe if I'm hitting with a like junior, more inexperienced person, maybe if they're playing bad or whatever, their intensity or their focus kind of goes away a little bit. And yeah, I kind of have the tendency sometimes to copy that because I can get away with it. I don't have to be at my top game in order to maybe win that practice or do well. So more often than not, kind of comes around to bite me when I play against people at a higher level where I can't really get away with not being 100% there the whole time. So yeah, that's a work in progress, and I'm constantly trying to improve that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. There's a lot more footage coming for this week, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And yeah, until then, take care, have fun, and keep doing you.